As humans, we're good at creating biases and stereotypes. But as humans, we're also really good at learning and healing and growing. So I'm going to challenge us to make a concerted effort to correct the prejudices and the biases that we've learned throughout our lives and that we'll continue to learn in order to live a healthier life and help others live a healthier life as well. So to help us do this, I'm going to share 3 strategies for challenging our stereotypes about older adults and to stop being so darn ageist.
Hello there. I am Dr. Regina Koepp, and this is the Caring for Aging Parents show. I'm a board-certified clinical psychologist, and I specialize in older adults and families. I help you manage the most complicated situations with your aging parents so that you have peace of mind knowing that you are doing everything you can to help your parents live their best lives without giving up your own life in the process. So for the best tips on helping you to care for your aging parents, subscribe to my show and you'll get new tips every Wednesday.
Today I want to talk to you about how to challenge our stereotypes about older adults. So ageism is bias and discrimination based on age, and it affects older adults more than any other age group. For more information about ageism and how it affects older adults, check out my episode entitled What is Ageism and How Does It Affect Older Adults? I want to start by saying that categorizing and stereotyping and developing biases and prejudice are actually normal aspects of the human experience. We all do it. No matter our age, race, gender, sexual orientation, we all do it. It's actually a normal, common human phenomenon. And if you find yourself falling into a bias trap, it can help to remember, oh, I'm human. But even though you're human and it's common, it's actually not healthy and it can be quite hurtful. As humans, we're good at creating biases and stereotypes. But as humans, we're also really good at learning and healing and growing. So I'm going to challenge us to make a concerted effort to correct the prejudices and the biases that we've learned throughout our lives and that we'll continue to learn in order to live a healthier life and help others live a healthier life as well. So to help us do this, I'm going to share 3 strategies for challenging our stereotypes about older adults and to stop being so darn ageist. So here they are. Number 1 is to develop awareness about your own bias and privilege. Number 2 is to walk a mile in someone else's shoes. And number 3 is to shift your focus. So I'll talk about each of these in more detail. So let's start with number 1, developing awareness about our own bias and privilege. So here are some ways to develop awareness about our own bias and privilege. Watching this episode, for example, and the episode from last week can really help. And engaging in a self-reflective practice where you learn about yourself and what might contribute to your ageist thoughts and beliefs can really help as well. In fact, I have some self-reflective questions in my show notes on my website to help you do just this. And then something like taking an assumptions test, like the Harvard Implicit Associations test, can help develop your awareness about your own unconscious bias as it relates to older adults. I'll link to the Harvard Implicit Association test in my show notes as well. And it can help to acknowledge your own age privilege. So for example, I'm 43 years old and have age privilege with work. I can easily get a job. I can easily find housing. People won't discriminate against me if I'm applying to rent an apartment. And in my community, people look at me as if I belong. They see me. The second strategy is perspective taking. And this is the idea of walking in somebody else's shoes or imagining certain experiences from their perspective. So you might seek out workshops that will help you to do this, like for example, SAGE is a nonprofit organization for older LGBTQ folks, and it provides workshops and videos. You can just simply watch videos. or movies that show the full range of older adulthood, not just the stereotypical view. I'll link to some examples in my show notes as well. All right, the third strategy is what I like to call shift your focus. So shifting our focus means that we try to see things with a new lens. So here are 3 ways to start to shift your focus. So the first is to shift your focus from a stereotypical view of older adults to what we call the counter stereotype. So this is where you put a picture in your mind of an older adult that's the opposite of the stereotype. So my favorite counter stereotype is of Ida Keeling, who was the first woman ever to run 100 meters at 100 years old. And you know what Ida Keeling's secret to aging is? Here it is. You have to love yourself. So the second is to shift how you interact with older adults. So if you realize that you're only around older adults who are sick or at the end of their life, then I'd encourage you to look for opportunities to interact with older adults who are in a healthier and more active season of their life. All right, so the third is to shift your focus from a general idea of what all older adults are like all older adults are frail, or all older adults are depressed, or all older adults have dementia, to thinking of one older adult and looking at their unique qualities rather than the stereotypical attributes. Okay, so let's review the 3 strategies for challenging your stereotypes about older adults. Number 1, develop awareness about our own bias and privilege. Number 2 is to take another person's perspective. And number 3 is to shift your focus. So you see, they're actually very simple strategies. They just take a little conscientious effort, but doing this will help older adults live healthier, happier, and longer. Challenging our assumptions and biases about older adults won't only benefit others, it's going to benefit you as well. You'll find yourself living with a greater sense of grace and integrity in this world. And who doesn't want that? And if that's not reason enough, you yourself will be an older adult one day. And don't you want people to look at you in all of your complexity and all of your glory and not just whittle you down to a mere stereotype? Yeah, me too.
If this video was helpful, be sure to subscribe, and don't forget to share this video with your friends who are caring for their aging parents, because nobody should have to do this caregiving thing alone. Lots of love to you and your family. I'll see you next Wednesday.